adjust. So we'll just go a little bit shorter today. We'll try to leave a little bit earlier today. We'll try to do things a little bit earlier at the hotel tonight. It certainly cuts into your day of the game walkthrough. We weren't going to be able to use their arena tonight anyways because I believe they have a gymnastics meet. So we plan to practice here anyways. So I'll just condense everything down a little bit and do the best we can with it. I mean, and we had an inkling last night that there was a potential this could happen. So it wasn't like it caught us by surprise. And the SEC and Auburn and Bruce Pearl actually with me have kept in touch today. So we're able to adjust. But we'll keep everything as scheduled as we can right now.
Advantageous for your guys or any?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even look at it like that. I just look at it like that's the hand that's dealt right now, and it certainly makes a lot of sense because if something were to go wrong there weather-wise, and that building needs to be utilized the way that it needs to be, I get it. I get it completely. So I don't look at it as any advantage, disadvantage. I look at it as it's just what it is, and let's do the best we can with it.
Can you, Auburn's got it going on right now, and that's a regular opponent for you guys and everything else. So how important is it to kind of, to get some positive feedback playing?
Well, they got a huge advantage. He's actually been there a lot longer than I've been here. So when you do the math, so he's had a chance to really build it the way that he wants to build it, and I give him great credit for that. He's an outstanding coach and a great leader, and he's built a fantastic team. I mean, so that's the way it is. And if it was we'd both been in the same job the same time, maybe be a different story. But bottom line is they're really, really good. They're one of the key teams in the league that you look at them and they really don't take plays off because of how hard they play every possession. Their defense is even better than it was a year ago. Their offensive rebounding is as good as any in the country. Forget league. I mean, it's as good as anybody in the country because of the relentlessness that they come with every possession with 3 or 4 guys, every possession. And you have to be able to deal with that. And there's a lot of great rebounding teams in this league. And I think they're just as good as anybody in the nation. So there's that. There's transition. They turn you over. They certainly are still making a lot of threes. I think they're still making 8 a game. But the bottom line is they're getting to the rim. They're driving to create contact and get fouled, much like Kentucky does. So there's a lot of things that they do that are really, really good that we've got to deal with.
This 3-game slate, has it been about what you expected in terms of preparing and moving from one quality team?
I never really look at it like that. I mean, you see the schedule come out and you see those games, right? But I mean, pretty quick, you can't think like that. I mean, it really, if you do, I caught myself doing that the other day. If you start thinking like that, it messes with you. I mean, you've really got to look at it each game, one game at a time for this whole deal. And is the preparation similar? In some cases, because of how good the teams are, how athletic they are, how well they rebound, how well people drive it, the length and versatility defensively that all these teams have. They have bigs that can really make plays. And Austin Wiley, Macklemore, those guys, Isaac Okoro's playing fantastic, and we go right on down the line with their team. So those kind of things are similar, but every game is different, and you've got to find a way to give your team what they have to compete in the game. But at the end of the day, it is just that. You have to compete, right? And so everything falls under the umbrella of competing and playing with intelligence and playing fearless but not reckless. So everything we can do to get to that point is what we're trying to work on.
Does getting that first true road experience last week help y'all at all?
I hope so. Well, Arizona State was
true.
road experience, and we learned a lot from that. We didn't play very well.
Yeah.
So I hope so. This will be a fantastic atmosphere. I mean, he's done an incredible job with the atmosphere there. Their atmosphere last year was as good as any we were in. So to me, it's a matter of just coming out, getting under control. As I tell the team, who wakes up first, a lot of times is going to have an edge in those early morning games. And we've got to do a really good job of coming out there prepared, ready to go, a lot of energy, and not give them a lot of live ball turnovers. I mean, they feast on runs. They feast on them, and most teams do, but they really do. And we've got to make sure that we're not giving them those type of runs.
I know you talked about Jordan Harris before, coming off suspension, but he was asking a little bit about that today. But just wanted you to kind of just comment more, just kind of how he's kind of handling himself and what he's doing now as he's become more integrated.
Well, the first couple games back, I thought he did a really good job of just inserting himself and being part of the equation, right? And then maybe we got away with trying to do a little bit too much, and you got to work your way back in. And what he's got to be is a tremendous defender. He's got to be on the glass. You saw the other night with the driving. I thought he did a better job the other night But again, when you get overly anxious, you start trying to hit home run plays. And that's not the kind of team we have. That's not the kind of player that he is. And we need him to be the explosive athlete that he is. We need him to be the scorer, defender, rebounder that he can be. But most importantly, be a face of stability out there for the team, especially with as many young guys as he's playing with.
You talked about the relentlessness of Auburn. I know you talked about that after the game with Kentucky the other night too. How do you sort of develop that with a team like you've got? Can you do that within the course
You just
of the
have to keep
season?
building it. Yeah, you just keep building it. I mean, you recruit to it. You try to practice to it. You got to have high-level competitors. And it's harder with youth. There's no question about it because they don't know. They don't know what that means. You know, they've heard that term in the past, and it's a lot different than when you're at this level. And really, relentlessness comes after resilience comes, right? Like you got to have resilience, and resilience comes from some consistency. So all of a sudden you start to become more consistent. All of a sudden there's a resiliency. You're able to bounce back. You're not able to let little things bother you. You're not able to let the last shot knock you out of the next few minutes. You know, those are the kind of things that build a relentlessness in people that when that ball goes up on the glass, that you're going to get it, all right? Or when it's time to get back in transition. We haven't had enough guys separate themselves as elite level rebounders yet to put the pressure on everybody else. And that's what we need. Now, that's an answer to your question. We need to develop that, right? We need to continue to develop the guys that really are going to get high quality minutes in this season as it continues to go are the ones that do develop that level of going to the glass, that tenacity defensively, that ability to move without the ball, you know, that ability to make a play for somebody else and not let things affect them. I mean, and our youth is being served up a little bit on the glass. There's times we're good, there's times we're not so good. And a lot of that's because of the physicality. And I don't mean youth just because we're young. I mean youth because we're not quite as, this is an old team we're playing here, again, on tomorrow. I mean, they're an older team. I mean, they've been through it. And they've rebounded the ball at the Final Four level. So, I mean, they know what that is. We don't know what that is yet. But you have to keep developing it every day, and we definitely work to do that.